Your first headliner tonight has actually performed in 170 cities in 30 states. He's actually one of the funniest comics that you've never heard of. Why don't you guys put your hands together for Trot Davis?
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. I got a 19-year-old daughter at home, and she's very honest, but she doesn't always tell me everything. I had a half a gallon of vodka in the garage in the freezer, and it was suddenly frozen. So I called this to her attention. We got frozen vodka here. She goes, how'd that happen? I said, well, you take vodka out of the freezer and you let some out, put water in its place, put it back in, it's going to freeze. She said, I didn't know that. I said, I can see that. She's not driving yet either. I'm not helping her. She's uncoordinated. I know she's going to wreck, like first time. She comes up to me the other day. She goes, well, Dad, why don't you just get me a practice car? That'd be all right with you guys to turn my daughter loose in a practice car. Her best friend, Audrey, biggest drinker I've ever seen in my life. I have never seen anybody consume this much alcohol. She's 18. She shouldn't even be drinking. Came home a couple days early by surprise. I found Audrey passed out on the couch. I'm like, what's going on here? So she got in a scuffle with her parents, needed a place to stay for a day or two, but she was the only one here, and I didn't have any parties. There was an empty keg in the backyard. This Audrey can drink. Apparently she's a chain smoker too. Like 500 cigarette butts in the backyard. All different brands. I thought that was kind of odd, you know. 24 rolls of toilet paper missing too. She's a pooper. I'll tell you guys a little bit about myself. I'm 50 years old. I've been divorced 3 times. And people are like, 3 times? You know, I thought third time was a charm, you know. Mythbuster. I got 4 kids. I've been paying child support since 1979. Jimmy Carter was president. You're like, who? Who is that Jimmy Carter? Ronald Reagan died of old age. He was president after Jimmy. Still paying. I love my kids. Got a computer recently. I don't know anything about computers. I got somebody to teach me, though, how to download, surf the net, send email. All I got to do is buy her a bike for her 8th birthday. She's a whiz on the computer. That scares me, too, because last time I threatened to ground her, she's like, oh, yeah? I'm going to steal your identity. I didn't know she could do that. You know, we as comedians, we get up here, we write jokes, you know, we think of funny things to say, but real life is just funnier than anything that you could come up with, don't you think? And kids are a great source of material. I have to tell this next story. My daughter and I were talking about the whole car issue. We decided that she should get a job. You know, well, I decided. So she went down to the local pizza place to apply for a job. I told her, get there at 10 o'clock when they open. It'll make a good impression. Get there bright and early. Let them know you're serious. So she had a friend take her. She sat in a parking lot for like 10 minutes, and she never did go in. And she came home, and I said, did you get the job? She said, no, Dad, I'm going to go back after 12 o'clock. And I said, well, why? And she said, because there was a sign in the window that said, now hiring afternoons and evenings. I wish that was a joke. Now you know I don't want her driving. About stepkids, anybody got stepkids? Yeah, you don't sound real happy. I had a couple stepkids. That's one of the reasons I got divorced. Stepkids, you can't tell me what to do. You're not my dad. Yeah, I know. I got a job, a car, a phone. And we can find me. Stepkids are not the same, you know. You're supposed to love your stepkids just like your kids, but it's not that way, you know. I mean, come on, be honest. If there's a fire, well, you'll go back if there's time. If there's time. Yeah. Little daughter, I get together with her sometimes. We play Barbies a lot. She doesn't always want to. My son's 30. He lives in Seattle, and he's into conspiracy theories like a lot of young people are. You know, they think the world's going to end in 2012, you know. He's always been that way, though. He was a paranoid baby. Yeah, he thought we were trying to poison him because we'd always pretend to eat the baby food. I tried to get him to eat it. You could see it on his face. He's like, right? Why am I the only one on formula? Got poked in the eye recently with a stick, nothing too serious, but my eye turned red, a little scratch, thought it might get infected. I went to the doctor. He's giving me an eye exam. He goes, let me ask you something, Mr. Davis. Have you ever had any vision problems in the past? I said, well, I got 3 ex-wives. I didn't see that coming. Apparently, I am blind. Well, you can't be a stand-up comic and have 3 divorces and not touch on it, right? So here we go. I actually started doing stand-up in divorce court. It's like, well, Your Honor, she took everything but the blame. I learned some stuff in divorce court. I found out I wasn't quite the co-owner I thought I was. Yeah, the women are laughing. I had to borrow money to get divorced. Called it a home improvement loan. Some of you are laughing, some of you can't. Still waiting for a loan to come through. My ex-wife was a pathological liar. One time I caught her telling the truth. She lied her way out of it. She did. When she dies, her tombstone's going to read, here's where the truth lies, because it never got out. She wrote a book, How to Screw a Guy Out of Everything He Owns. But she sugar-coated the title and called it How to Get the Most Out of a Relationship. More of a user guide. I consider my option mail order bride. What do they do? Send her UPS or FedEx? Seems like she'd absolutely positively have to be here overnight or she'd suffocate, wouldn't she? Don't try this. It's a lot like the CD club. Sure, you get the bride free, but each month they send you another relative. Pretty soon you got people in your house you don't even know. Who was that? I don't know. I don't know.
He is very good.
Thanks. I had a good summer. My grandpa's had a birthday. He's 95. And he talks to himself, and it was scaring the kids, you know. So we got him a Bluetooth. Now he looks like everybody else. You know? Pretty good. I mean, it's not on. The way he wanders off, who could afford the roaming charges? I know what you're thinking. That's a good idea right there. I got a lot of good ideas. I test drove a pickup truck recently. I wasn't in the market to buy a truck, but I had to move a couch. Sometimes you can save money. Had a birthday this summer. My mom called me up, asked me if I wanted jumper cables for my birthday. I said no, because I'm an honest person and I don't want to have to lie to people when they need a jump. Right? We all do that, don't we? Hey, I'm in trouble here. You got cables? No. But Dad, we have cables. Shh. Went to a wedding this summer. This summer went fast, didn't it? Wow. I know. My niece got married a guy named Chance. Yeah, what was funny about that? That's not even a funny part, man. I'm in the back of the chapel. I've been divorced 3 times, right? We've established that. My cousin Becky, she's 4, so 7 between us, you know, and she's a nut. And when it got to the part of the ceremony where she turned to him and said, "I take this chance." You betcha. Almost got a ticket the other day for parking in an expecting mother spot. It's the last time I'm meeting my mom at the grocery store. Told the officer I was expecting her any minute. He let me off on originality. He like 20 years, he never heard nothing like that. I was all excited too. I wrote that. Never tell a cop you're a comedian. That's not a good